President Rodrigo Duterte offered to give 1 million pesos to anyone who could capture dead or alive heinous crime convicts, freed under the Good Conduct Time Allowance Law.
Sinabi ko, I will just set the timeline, and then the 1 million prize is available to those who can capture them dead or alive, but maybe dead would be a better option. I will pay you smiling.
Nearly 2,000 prisoners have been released over the last few years, including those convicted of heinous crimes who were found to be ineligible for a law that rewards good behavior with shorter jail time. The law went into effect in 2014, 2 years before Duterte was elected president. The premature releases had gone largely unremarked until news broke last month that a former politician convicted in the 1990s and sentenced to decades behind bars in a notorious rape and murder case was about to get out early for good behavior. Earlier this month, President Duterte fired the prison's chief over the early releases, saying the records would show that there has been a wrong committed and maybe corruption. At least 400 ex-prisoners have surrendered over the past 2 weeks, according to police. Their cases will be reviewed by authorities with a view to returning them to prison. In other news, President Rodrigo Duterte has ordered a total revamp of the Bureau of Corrections to curb corruption within the Bureau, Malacanang said on Wednesday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo bared this after Duterte appointed former warden of the Parañaque and Manila City jails, Gerald Bantag, as new Bucor Director General on Tuesday. Panelo said the president is going to sign a directive. Asked if Bantag would also be given a free hand to select personnel, Panelo replied, perhaps. Most likely he will be given a free hand since he was designated as new Director General. The palace official also bared that Bantag's papers have already been signed, but Malacanang has yet to release copies of the document to reporters. Meanwhile, Panelo dismissed the comment of detained Senator Leila de Lima, who claimed that there will be more senseless killings and zero progress toward reforms at the Bucor with Bantag as its head. On Tuesday, Duterte said he is confident that Bantag will clean up the agency. Being a former regional director of the Bureau of Jail and Management and Penology, or the BJMP.
He knows his business. Yung lahat ng nangyari, wag mong gawin. Yun lang.
Okay.
All the things that you have observed along the way, all the things that are being obnoxious or repugnant to the public, wag mong gawin. He knows his business. Yung lahat ng nangyari, wag mong gawin. Yun lang.
Okay.
All the things that you have observed along the way, all the things that are being obnoxious or repugnant to the public, wag mong gawin.
Bantag was the jail warden when an explosion occurred at the Parañaque City Jail in 2016. He was among those hurt but still faced charges for the blast that left several inmates dead. Despite facing criminal charges, Duterte defended Bantag, saying he picked him as Bucor chief for his professional competence. Meanwhile, Thai opposition MPs demanded Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha to resign following weeks of uproar over ex-junta head's omission of a vow to uphold the constitution during his inauguration, raising questions of his legitimacy. The mastermind of a 2014 coup, Prayut headed the junta regime for 5 years before a disputed March election tilted to the military formally ushered him in as a civilian premier. But the new government has struggled to maintain a foothold as it is dogged by scandals, from a cabinet member being accused of serving time in jail for drug dealing in Australia to ties anchored by a slow response to floods in the Rice Bowl, Northeast. Questions over administration's legitimacy have also been raised after it was revealed Prayut and his cabinet had pledged loyalty to the king but failed to recite allegiance to the constitution when he was sworn in as civilian premier in July. The Constitutional Court last week had declined to deliberate on his omission. But in Parliament Wednesday, opposition lawmakers called for his resignation, saying the incomplete oath showed his ignorance of the Constitution and questioned whether he can be trusted to uphold the rule of law. Secretary General of the Youth-Driven Future Forward Party said it has destroyed public confidence as well as its credibility. He said Prayut's incomplete oath-taking makes the public doubt whether he will uphold and comply with the Constitution.
ผมไม่ต้องการให้พลเอกประยุทธ์จันทร์โอชาเป็นนายกรัฐมนตรีต่อไปเพื่อแสดงความรับผิดชอบทางการเมืองต่อการถวายสัตย์ปฏิญาณไม่ครบถ้วนเพื่อรักษารัฐธรรมนูญแห่งราชอาณาจักรไทยเพื่อทำถ้าแบบนี้นายกรัฐมนตรีกล่าวถ้อยคำถวายสัตย์ไม่ครบขาดคำว่าทั้งจะรักษาไว้และปฏิบัติตามรัฐธรรมนูญทุกประการเนี่ยนะครับขาดไปเนี่ยแบบนี้แสดงให้เห็นว่าท่านจะเข้ารับหน้าที่และใช้อำนาจของท่านโดยไม่รักษาไว้และไม่ปฏิบัติตามรัฐธรรมนูญแห่งราชอาณาจักรไทยใช่หรือไม่
Prayut was present for part of the parliament session, held only for one day without a vote before MPs go for recess on Thursday. Speaking briefly after listening to MPs hammer him for several hours, Prayut proclaimed respect for all the principles and the Constitution.
นายกรัฐมนตรีครับ
ถ้าก็ตามและผมก็เคารพในหลักการของรัฐธรรมนูญทุกตัวนะทุกตัวนะครับเพราะนั้นก็ผมก็จำเป็นต้องฟังผมบ้างนะครับผมไม่เคยที่จะไปล่วงละเมิดไม่มีจะทำให้อะไรเสียหาย
Indonesia is sending hundreds of garbage-filled shipping containers back to their countries of origin, as the shipments were loaded with a combination of garbage, plastic waste and hazardous materials in violation of import rules. The Southeast Asian nation pushes back against becoming a dumping ground for foreign trash. Watch this.
9 diantaranya ini yang sudah kita putuskan ini harus direekspor. 9 ini terdiri dari 9 ini ya merupakan impor yang dilakukan oleh PT HI, di mana mereka mengimpor satu kawasan berikat ini mengimpor 138 kontainer yang berisi chips, biji plastik, kemudian staple fiber yang mereka lakukan dalam 3 kali shipment.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines.
Net25 is now available on OSN, the largest entertainment network in the Middle East and North Africa.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows live
and on demand anytime, anywhere on
any mobile device on OSN Play.
With gorgeous white sandy beaches that stay cool to touch even on the hottest summer days, blue-green ocean waves, and the warm ocean breeze, there's no wonder why Dr. Beach has named Siesta Key, Florida, the #1 beach in the United States. Don't forget to watch episodes of Digital Next every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. I'm Melissa Protest, coming to you from Siesta Key, Florida, and I am one with 25.
Welcome back. President Rodrigo Duterte will visit Moscow for a second time this October. Upon the invitation of Russian President Vladimir Putin, Malacanang said on Wednesday. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panalo confirmed to reporters that Duterte accepted the invitation of Putin to visit the country. Duterte has previously called Putin his favorite hero. Panalo said that the trip to Moscow would likely happen during the first week of October. Ties between the Philippines and Russia are expected to improve after the president's visit, he said. Last September 12, Foreign Affairs Teodoro Locsin Jr. feared that the president will go to Russia to make up for his first state visit that was aborted within half a day of arriving by the fall of Marawi to jihadists, including foreign fighters. In May 2017, Duterte cut short his first state visit to Russia after Maute terrorists attacked Marawi City. He declared martial law in Mindanao on May 23, 2017. In other news, the government is monitoring its oil supply from the Middle East in the wake of drone attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil facilities over the weekend, a finance official said Wednesday. Finance Undersecretary Carl Chua, however, said he is relying on Saudi Arabia's promise that its oil supply will be back to normal by the end of the month.
Latest na nabasa ko sa news today is yung supply bumalik na sa normal according to the news that I read today. So if that is the case, then wala po tayong impact sa ating oil supply and there's no further action needed. So we just have to monitor that the supply that are coming from the Middle East are indeed adequate.
By Representative Joey Salceda, chair of the House of Representatives Committee on Ways and Means, warned oil companies against taking advantage of the attack in Saudi Arabia to increase the prices.
Back to the base. Panawagan dyan, yung mga oil companies, don't take advantage of the windfall. Because some of them are trying to price already their old inventories in the new one. Kaya, ang pakiusap ko lang po sa mga oil companies, don't exploit. Kasi I thought that the announcement of new price increases were a bit premature.
He urged oil companies to prove to the public that the oil they are selling was bought at the prices they have set. The lawmaker further said oil companies that fail to comply will be disgorged.
There's a law on disgorgement. The disgorgement said you cannot profit, it's undue enrichment because we don't have a windfall tax.
He also assured that the administration would not make any knee-jerk reflex reaction in relation to the suspending the excise tax on oil. Under the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion or TRAIN law, the government can suspend the implementation of the higher excise tax if oil prices in the world market hits $80 per barrel for 3 consecutive months. Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi, meanwhile, also assured the public that there is sufficient oil supply to keep the economy running for the next 30 days. Reports show that attacks on Saudi Arabia's oil facilities decreased global supply by 5.7 million barrels per day, which is equivalent to 5% of the global supply. Continued risk aversions given the geopolitical and trade concerns overseas resulted in negative close of Philippine main equities index, while the peso remains resilient on Wednesday. The Philippine Stock Exchange or Index PSEI finished the day's trade down by 0.21%. or 16.94 points to 7,915.29 points. Regina Capital Managing Director Luis Limlingan said oil prices fell despite last week's attacks on oil facilities in Saudi Arabia, after the country's energy minister assured that the kingdom's oil supply will soon be back online. He also noted that gold prices were supported by the expectations of another interest rate cut from the U.S. Fed, but it traded on a narrow range as investors waited for further clarity on the central bank's stance on future monetary policy. Federal Open Market Committee, or the FOMC, has started its two-day monetary policy meeting scheduled for September 17 to 18, 2019. With investors taking on a wait-and-see stance, most of the counters in the local bourse tracked the main gauge. All shares declined by 0.16% or 7.77 points to 4,786.43 points. Property registered the highest drop among the sectors with 1.15%, followed by the industrial 0.94% and services with 0.79%. On the other hand, holding firms rose by 0.55%, financials by 0.48%, and mining and oil with 0.33%. Volume was thin at 451.06 million shares, amounting to 6.74 billion pesos. Losers led gainers at 107 to 90, while 43 shares were unchanged. On the other hand, the local currency remained firm and ended the day sideways to the US dollar at 52.2 from 52.26 Tuesday. It opened the day at 52.17 from the previous session's 52.33 start. It traded between 52.15 and 52.26, resulting in an average of 52.215. Volume declined to 912.33 million US dollars from billion levels in recent days, with Tuesday's total at 1.14 billion US dollars.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows on OSN channel 725, same day as the Philippines. Watch your favorite Net25 shows live and on demand anytime, anywhere on any mobile devices on OSN Play.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. Malaysia closes more than 1,000 schools nationwide as toxic haze from Indonesian forest fires engulfs the region. Air quality deteriorated to very unhealthy levels on an official index in many parts of peninsular Malaysia, to the east of Sumatra, with the Kuala Lumpur skyline shrouded by the dense smog. Meanwhile, massive forest fires in Indonesia that have caused a toxic haze to spread as far as Singapore and peninsular Malaysia are also seriously affecting endangered orangutans and their habitat. Watch this.
Total orangutan yang terinfeksi saluran pernafasan 31 orangutan. Di antaranya ada 7 orangutan dari grup bayi dan 9 orangutan dari sekolah hutan atau forest school yang dalam perawatan kita. Pemberian multivitamin 1 kali sehari, pemberian onion juice atau jus bawang bombay, setelah itu nebulizer, dan pemberian antibiotik untuk orangutan yang sudah parah dalam perawatan intensif.
Jadi hari ini kami teman-teman sedang mempersiapkan kandang ini karena api sudah mendekati daerah kandang. Jadi kandang ini kami siapkan untuk dijaga nanti jika api sudah mendekat sini, orangutannya kami masukkan.
That is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Judith Llamera, and I'm 1 with 25.